The end of 2023 rapidly approaches, and with that, that means that we are getting to Oscar season. The award ceremony will be happening very soon, and nominations will be coming out in January. Thus, it felt like another perfect time to bring back power rankings for the Academy Awards, and today we are doing Best Actress. I have 20 names for you today. The Best Actress category is loaded this year. There is a lot of incredible talent in the actress category this year. So I'm not going to hit all of these actresses in any great length. We're just going to kind of go through each one and just kind of break down each category and how I determined it. I will just say, I believe these in the first two categories just stand no chance. Everyone from 20 to 12, you're just not going to see any of them getting nominations. Everyone 11 up, I believe at least has a fighting chance, even if I don't find it realistic to happen. So thus, let's start with the we all see what you're doing here. The failed Oscar bait, as I think is the best way to put it. We have three names in here, and they're actually kind of for similar roles, at least for two of the actresses. We have coming in at number 20 is Elizabeth Banks for The Beanie Bubble, which the fact that anyone even thought that had any form of Oscar buzz to it is wild to me. We have number 19, Helen Mirren for Golda, a movie I got the chance to, at the very least, screen early, and I skipped it. I believe she plays the Israeli Prime Minister. I believe that's the premise of this movie. I remember receiving word about this in August, and I didn't have any interest. It doesn't sound like I needed to have any interest on this movie. And then number 18, and I did review this film for the channel. This is Pain Hustlers, and this movie's a disaster. And Emily Blunt just, I said it in my review, she just needs a new agent. This is not going to get her anywhere. And this film is so ill-suited for Emily Blunt. And honestly, she's pretty bad in this film. Like, this is the case of she's just completely miscast for this role. So those are the top three. That is 2019 and 18. So next, let's get to the fan fervor can only get you so far. This one has performers who have legitimate supporters. Like, people would like to see them. They have their stands, or however you want to call them, online. Like, there is enough critical support for this, and there does seem to be at least some industry support for this performance, but it is really just the case of it's not going to happen. So let's talk about them real quick. Coming in at number 17, and this one is definitely not happening, but it didn't fit in the other category. But I do know that when this film originally came out, which to my shock, this actually had some people being like, oh, she's so good in it, she could get a nomination. Like, maybe, again, I don't know who those people were, but I did see that going around. It was Halle Bailey, I believe is how you pronounce Halle Bailey. Apologies for mispronouncing your name. You are quite good in The Little Mermaid. I don't want to take anything away from her. A good performance in a bad film in The Little Mermaid. So that's coming in at number 17. Number 16 is one of those ones where I am truly the fan fervor for it, along with a lot of other people, and I wish this performance was getting some recognition. It's Abby Ryder-Fortson for Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. She is absolutely wonderful in this film. This is just such a knockout performance from her. This is such a controlled performance, and she has wonderful chemistry with everyone in the film, from Safdie to Rachel McAdams to Kathy Bates. This film is a coming-of-age story, and she is the central part of that, and thus I think she just nails this role. I wish she was getting more support from it, but it's just not going to happen. Number 15 is a performance I actually saw today. It's an A24 film directed by Kelly Reichardt, I believe is the director's name. First of her filmography that I've ever seen, but I know she's done a few other films, including First Cow from a few years ago. This is Michelle Williams in the film showing up, which is a very small indie produced film. This one is a very quiet performance. Michelle Williams is really good in this movie. I just never really connected with it. And for the scale of this movie, it's just not going to get the nomination. It's a good performance, but it is simply just the case of this is going to go completely unseen. And this came out in the summer, I believe, of 2023. It's just nothing's working in this film's favor if it did even try to compete in this nomination. Coming in at number 14, Oh, I have some thoughts about this one because this is a performance that I did see at the beginning of the year. I saw this performance at the Sundance Film Festival and was quite taken by this performance. I think this actress was really good, and it actually ended up performing a lot better than I thought it would when the film came out. This film actually kind of had a moment for a little bit where people were talking about it. People I knew had seen this film, and this kind of at least catapulted her from someone that I know was famous, but maybe not like of the biggest fame, to someone who became kind of a name in Hollywood, and you started hearing them fan cast for other projects, whether it's a superhero thing or slash blockbuster entertainment. It is, and I apologize if I cannot pronounce it. It's Phoebe Dynevor from Fair Play. I had issues with Fair Play, but there is no way to disregard this movie, as this film works solely because of how good she is. Alden Ehrenreich is, I think, actually giving the better of the two performances, but Phoebe is having to do so much in this film, and all central emotion revolves around this character, and the tension comes from this character's interactions with Ehrenreich. It is very much a duo performance, but she is great in this movie. It's just not enough to earn it a nomination. Coming in at 13, I wish this one was in consideration. I don't know what happened to it. Maybe it's just that this film is small. Maybe it's that they don't want to go for a movie like Priscilla after nominating Elvis for as many awards as they did last year. But Kaylee Spaney as Priscilla is really incredible in this film. I think Sofia Coppola does her best work in 20 plus years in Priscilla. Coming in at number 12, a performance I still haven't seen, but I did get I did get a DVD to see this movie. It is You Hurt My Feelings. I will be watching it this weekend, and maybe I'll have a review for it. I love Julia Louis-Dreyfus. There was some buzz for her, so I don't think this one is completely out of the realm, but I just think if you're looking at the next 11 names, there just doesn't really seem to be any place for Julia Louis-Dreyfus, especially when you consider the fact that Julia Louis-Dreyfus, not only an Emmy actress, like she is very much known for TV, and there's not really, while there is crossover with the Academy, there is still this bias of you're a movie actor and I'm a TV actor, et cetera, and that could be coming out against Julia Louis-Dreyfus. There is that star power, where star power is different between TV and movie. There is a difference being a movie star and a TV star, as I kind of just said. So those are all playing against her. And two, I think one of the other big underrated aspects of why Julia won't get a nomination here is, if you look at it, A24 has other people to campaign in this said category, and I believe they're going to pay more attention to trying to campaign in those actors' favors rather than Julia Louis-Dreyfus, because they might even be trying to push for a possible surprise nomination, or maybe even a win. I don't think the win is possible for A24 in this category, but they did crazy stuff with Michelle Yeoh last year for Everything Everywhere All at Once, so you can never discount A24. So those are the top two categories. I guess I should say the bottom two categories. So we all see what you're doing, I should say, and fan fervor can only get you so far. So let's go to my favorite category. But before we do that, I just want to say, if you're liking this video, please do me a favor, like and subscribe to my channel, hit that bell below, and help me out. I hit 500 followers just a few hours ago, so I thank you all for supporting me and supporting this channel. And my goal is now 1,000 for 2024. So let's get it started now. And coming in for the category of Twitter jail, and I know I'm terrible at transitions there, but coming in for Twitter jail / think piece litigation, let's do these two performances. One of them I actually pushed down here because at one point I think they moved out of Twitter jail, and then it kind of felt like they got pushed back to Twitter jail just due to how competitive this category got. I have Anette Bening here for Nyad. Nyad, who is an extremely complicated character in real life. She has had a lot of controversies, not only with the swim, but her personal life, her feeling towards, if I am correct, and I don't quote me on this, but she has had some, let's just call it unfortunate quotes about trans athletes. So that's all I'll leave for that moment. But I just think with that, the fact of how much Nyad is being discussed, maybe even a little bit negatively, just all the writing that has been done on a movie that I honestly don't believe deserves that much writing. It's kind of whatever film. That's why Annette Bening is coming in at number 11 and coming in at number 10. And people are definitely going to think it's just too low. But I think it is, again, the case of the competition. And the fact that this question is even being poised tells me that this performance isn't universally loved. And it's Natalie Portman in May, December. Listen, when you have people discussing the merits of you as an actor, whether you are a good actor based on how you perform in this movie, that's just not a good groundswell to get a nomination for. And I think some people are just not necessarily turned off by Natalie Portman, but they're just not on the same wavelength as Natalie Portman. And especially in a movie like this, where this character is already so complicated and it is kind of a wavelength performance where if you're not sitting there, and let me just fully say, I was not into this performance at all. I did not really care for this movie, and I did not like what Natalie Portman was doing in this movie, even though I do think Natalie is a really talented actress. So that's where I'm kind of at with that. So those are those true names in think piece litigation. So now let's move into people that I actually think are more in the race. And the only reason 9 and 8 aren't in the race more is because their films are extremely hard to access. And listen, I know I'm a small film critic. I know I don't get all the FYC screeners. I know all of that. It's also the challenge of, I don't know a lot of people who've gotten the chance to see either of these movies. Or if you're not in a major city like LA or New York, some of these movies just, from my understanding, aren't screening anywhere else. So we have 2 movies on here. The first of this is Ingenue Ellis Taylor for Origin. This is Ava DuVernay's newest film. It actually premiered in limited release like on December 10th. And I'm in Sacramento and it still hasn't come to me. So this is going to be, at this moment, unless either someone from the studio gets in contact with me or they make like some sort of surprise release in Sacramento in the next week, by the time my top 10 films of 2023 list comes out, I'm not going to have gotten the chance to see Origin, which maybe it would have made my best, maybe it would have made my worst, but I can't judge it until, I think last time I had heard Origin would be coming to Sacramento on January 21st. So that's about another month for me to wait. So that's kind of the issue with this. And if that's kind of the release strategy that seems to be with Origin, and again, I know it got released bigger and I'm just in Sacramento, so it is this weird case, but the fact that it doesn't feel like anyone's talking about this movie and it has some form of limited release, that's not really good. And I just kind of am dismissing this performance outright because of that. And coming in at number 8 for similar reasons, although I do believe the popularity of this actress is at least supporting it, and the fact that there are other possible nominations that this film could receive, I have number 8, Jessica Chastain for Memory. Pierce Sarsgaard is also possibly up for this award, and I believe the Best Supporting Actor is where Sarsgaard is running. Jessica Chastain, talented actress, just won a few years ago for The Eyes of Tammy Faye. When she makes films, you always have to at least hear her out, I guess, to a degree. And I don't think Memory is going to be able to do it. They're run by this studio called Ketchup Entertainment. Maybe you know them from earlier this year. They released a Ben Affleck film called Hypnotic, directed by Robert Rodriguez. They're an extremely small company. They just don't have the resources to launch a huge FYC campaign. So they have to really go by word of mouth. However, let's not discredit Jessica Chastain just yet. And the big reason we cannot discredit her is because a year ago, if you said Andrea Riseborough was going to receive a nomination for To Leslie, 100 out of 100% of pundits would have said that is a lie. That is not possible. She's not even in contention. That's the thing that can change. All of a sudden, you start seeing Memory get some support. You start seeing some of those quote-unquote grassroots movements. Maybe all of a sudden, Best Actress has Jessica Chastain in it. I'm a Sacramento boy, so of course I'm rooting for my girl Jessica to get a nomination, although I still have no clue when I'm going to see this movie. Coming in, and okay, so let me actually now just break this apart, because I was about to do the rounding out the top 5. However, I have the category above it called Gown Already Paid For. These are the surefire locks. So I actually think it's more interesting to talk about my 1, 2, and 3 first, and then go out with the people who are rounding out the top 5. So let's do my top 3. My number 3, who is guaranteed to get a nomination, is Carey Mulligan in Maestro. And I'm going to save my thoughts on this performance because I did see Maestro today, and I have a lot of thoughts about the film and the Carey Mulligan performance. But at this moment, it does just feel safely easy to slot Carey Mulligan in this category. She's been nominated a few other times. I believe it was 2009 for An Education, and as recently as Promising Young Woman from 2020, the COVID Oscars. So she is beloved within the Academy. And this performance has it kind of all written out for Carey Mulligan to get a nomination. I'll get into Maestro in a few days. So again, if you're liking this video and specifically you want to hear my thoughts about Maestro, do me a favor, subscribe, and you'll be able to be alerted when that Maestro video comes out either Saturday or Sunday of this week. So coming in at number 2, and I actually need to shoot a review for this film. I'm trying to get someone to come on the show to talk to me about this film when this film comes out to Apple TV soon enough. I've seen this film and I actually haven't talked about it in any great length. Coming in at number 2 is Lily Gladstone for The Killers of the Flower Moon. And this performance is kind of a knockout. And I also have some thoughts about this performance that I'm going to largely save. However, it is just the case of this performance is going to get nominated, and it's a pretty powerful performance. What they do, I might make the case that she doesn't belong in this category and she should actually be Best Supporting Actress, but I'll save that conversation for when I actually discuss Killers of the Flower Moon at length. For right now, we'll kind of just stick with her at number 2. And I think my hesitation to even put her higher on here, because is this a Best Actress performance or is it a Best Supporting Actress? Originally, from my understanding, she was campaigning for Best Supporting Actress and they changed it. I think that might hurt her a little bit, where it's just like some people are going to look at it and be like, this isn't really a lead actor performance here. I don't know. I'm kind of speculating, but that was kind of my thought going into it. I think if she was in Best Supporting Actress, I think it might be like a pretty clean, she's number 1 and she sweeps this whole category. But again, we'll go into that when I talk Killers of the Flower Moon. And then coming in at number 1, this should shock no one. I just reviewed this movie a few days ago on this channel. So go back to my YouTube channel and you'll see this there real quickly. But it is Poor Things, Emma Stone. This performance is undeniable and she's the one to beat. Not her second, sorry. Let me repeat that all. Emma Stone may be on her way to getting a second Oscar win. I know she did it for La La Land a few years ago. I honestly think this might be definitively not only just a better performance, like one of the most defining performances of an actress in the past 20 years. I mean, this thing is like kind of... Emma Stone has the hardest job in Poor Things, and the fact that she nails it to the degree that she does... like I said, I just don't know if anyone's beating Poor Things this year. So that's why Emma Stone is at number 1. So then I have my 3 at the top. Carey Mulligan for Maestro, Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon, number 1, Emma Stone for Poor Things. So who's rounding out? Who's getting those last 2 slots? I have 4 names that I truly believe are in contention. And you're probably like, wait, you're missing a big name. I know. They might be on this list in a second, but I know they're not in the locks at this point. So bear with me for a second, because coming in at number 7, I have Fantasia Barrino for The Color Purple. And I just want to say, while she is at number 7 right now, her stock, I think, is about to climb up, because as of recording this, it is December 21st. Color Purple comes out in 3 or 4 days. I forget if it comes out on the 24th or on Christmas Day. Her stock's about to rise way up with The Color Purple. So I have her at number 7 right now. I have a feeling within the next week, people might have her in that 5-6 slot right there, where she is like, she's the one where either she gets in or it's considered a pretty big snub to not have her in. So Fantasia's coming in at my number 7 spot. But again, keep your eye out for her, because I think she's going to rise in a second. Number 6. Ooh, some people aren't going to like this. I have Greta Lee for Past Lives. Sorry, I have to keep looking down at my notes. So I was mixing up Past Lives and Poor Things in my head. Greta Lee for Past Lives is my number 6. A movie that I will be talking about more this week, because I am also reviewing it on this channel soon enough. I actually hadn't gotten the chance to see Past Lives. I got really busy when this film originally came out. And I was just waiting for an opportunity to see it, so I'm playing catch up, and I will be seeing it soon enough. This film has the fan fervor. It's just the case of this is a loaded category, but A24 is putting all of its baskets in trying to get past Life's the nomination. It's a tough hill to climb this year, especially when you have these next two names. Number 5, and I will be seeing this film as well. I am reviewing this film soon enough. It is Sandra Huller in Anatomy of a Fall. And I think this is what's going to push her into Best Actress and why I put her above Greta Lee. I haven't seen Anatomy of a Fall at this moment. However, she has 2 big premiere films coming out this year. She is in Anatomy of a Fall, and she is in The Zone of Interest, Jonathan Glazer's The Zone of Interest. I think that body of work is going to kind of just give her the favor. She might even be deserving of the 4 spot and maybe even a lock at this point. I just think this year and what she's been able to critically do in this role. And again, I will be having reviews out, and I keep saying this, I will be having reviews out for Anatomy of a Fall and The Zone of Interest coming out in the next few days. So again, subscribe if you want to hear those when they come out. But I just think with that body of work in 1 year, I think they're going to give Sandra the nomination. And I believe she's going to have an international body kind of behind her for this. So that's why she's coming at number 5. And maybe, honestly, she should have been number 4. However, number 4, and let's just talk about it right now, because I think some people are having this name and being like, man, how did you not have her in your locks? It's like, this is the most guaranteed of guaranteed things. And then I've also seen other people who are like, she's not getting the nomination. They're not going to give this film this nomination. And I went back and forth on it. Here was the dumbest logic I had. If Margot Robbie doesn't get in for Barbie, but Ryan Gosling does for his performance as Ken in Barbie, is the Academy really going to sit with that well? I mean, honestly, think about that. If you're filling out your ballot and you're filling out and you're like, all right, let's go through Best Supporting Actor, Ryan Gosling. All right, pencil that in, blah, blah, blah. Best Actress, Margot Robbie, I don't know. Like, no, I won't nominate her for this. And true, listen, I know for a fact Robbie will get the Best Picture nomination for producing Barbie. That is a guaranteed thing. However, can you honestly imagine what the reception of it will be when the Academy nominates Ryan Gosling for Ken, but they don't nominate Margot Robbie for the titular Barbie character? I just think that would be weird for the Academy to do. And personally, that's not even something I necessarily know if I agree with. I haven't done my top 5 of the year, so I might even be in agreement with that because, I said it in my review of Barbie, Ryan Gosling gives the better performance in Barbie. But it is just one of those cases where I think when you're filling out a ballot and you're looking at it and you're just like, I think a lot of people are going to look at that and be like, oh, we're missing Margot Robbie, and be like, well, we're giving it all these other nominations. Like, it would be weird if Margot Robbie doesn't get it, but Ryan Gosling does get the nomination. So I think that is going to be playing in Margot Robbie's favor. But she might get snubbed. It might be Emma Stone, Lily Gladstone, Carey Mulligan, Sandra Huller, Greta Lee. That could very well be the top 5. I'm just kind of betting on the groundswell of support that is there for Barbie. And that's why I believe Margot Robbie is pretty safe in it. But I definitely did not feel confident enough to get her in that top 3. So that is my rankings for today. And let me know what you thought. Am I crazy? I probably am. And I'm probably horribly wrong. In about 4 weeks, everyone's going to look back and be like, man, you're an idiot. How could you even think this? Like, you were so wrong in all these categories. I know. I'm ready for it. But thank you all for supporting this. I know, trust me, I noticed when you guys gave me 1.2 K views for my Best Supporting Actor. So I am so appreciative of it. You don't even know how happy I am that I doubled my subscriber count in the year 2023 from 200 to 500. That means the world to me. And like I said, for 2024, we're going for 1,000. So thank you all for being a part of the ride. and we're going for it. And again, if you like this video, like and subscribe for more. My name is Ben Friedman. Take care and bye-bye.